what are some first steps home and building owners should take after a storm or a wildfire comes through?
I always worry about getting us out there first because a lot of people say call your insurance company first, but I think it helps to have the roofing company out there first so that you know the level of damage and you can have that assessment because we've had people call us and we get out there and they're like, "Oh, I already involved my insurance company and blah 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 and it's a $500 repair." And then you get then they've already made that claim and some insurance companies are good and some insurance companies use that against you. So I always say call the professionals first. Don't do anything. I know people want to take it into their own hands and go up and do something, but that would be an active crime site in my opinion. And if you do something to alter it, sometimes you can compromise it if there really is an insurance claim. So my first thing would be call a professional.
Absolutely. Yeah. Similar situation. I went to look at a home the other day. They filed a claim and had me come out and take a look at the roof, and it was very minimal damage. And if I would have been up there first, I would have said, don't do it. It's probably going to be under your deductible and you don't want to have that claim on your policy. So definitely I would say, the first thing I would suggest to a homeowner is take some pictures of your own. How many times have you seen pictures of hail in hands, right? But sometimes when a big storm happens and there's a lot of debris everywhere, their first instinct is, ooh, I got to clean up the yard or sweep the driveway, or I have all these granules coming out of the downspouts. I got to get rid of those. So they sweep them up. But that's all kind of evidence and backs what the storm really was. So I think my first thing I tell homeowners is, if you see paint chips in your driveway, take photos of the exterior so that you can show your adjuster, hey, this is what it looked like, but I did my own due diligence and cleaned up my yard and cleaned up my home the best to my ability and mitigated those damages. That's probably the first thing I would say. And then have us go look.
This is very good advice. Okay. So with, maybe this ties in more with hail, but even with smoke damage, like how can you determine if you need an entirely new roof or maybe just a few repairs? Or like how should a homeowner find that out?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love this question. I've been getting asked this question a lot lately, going to look at roofs, because in a previous life, before I owned Livello and worked for a construction company, I was an adjuster for about 5 years. And so I was kind of on the other side of things. And so when I go and look at a home, that's the brain that I turn on is through my adjuster lens, not necessarily a contractor. And so for people out there who don't know or haven't been through this, in regards to roofing specifically, your insurance company will come out and they'll do what's called a test square. And they'll mark out on your roof in chalk kind of brackets of a 10 by 10 area, 10 foot by 10 foot area. And they see, okay, how many hail hits are in this test square? Is there 1 or are there 20? Depending on how much damage is in that little test square, we'll tell them if your roof really needs to be replaced or repaired. They do that on all directional facing slopes, north, south, east, west. So not on every one of them, but it kind of gives them a better idea of what really is going on with your roof. And they look at soft metals and are there dents there? And it also depends on the age of your roof. They have kind of this factor that they use. I think it's 1, 1.5, and 2. And the older your roof, the higher the factor is. So let's say you have, 5 hail hits in your test square, but your roof is 20 years old. They might multiply it because it's harder to repair. Every company's different, but that's kind of that's the lens that I look at when I get on a roof. I look at soft metal first, and then I kind of do my own visual test score. I don't mark anything on the roof because I don't want to interrupt what an adjuster would do. But is that helpful?
Yeah.
No, that's so helpful. Yeah.
Wendy?
Yeah. No, she covered it. We're just in such a weird spot as contractors because like Lee has experience as an adjuster. I have experience in the insurance industry too. And, we want to help, but it's really important for the homeowners to understand that we can't do the claim for you. And so getting those measurements, getting that information, but once they come back with a determination, sometimes we can be supportive and helpful in helping them understand about repairs, helping them understand that, yeah, we can repair this, but to Lee's point, it's a 20-year-old roof and it's going to look like a ladybug top by the time we're done, and so it's not going to be a full actionable repair. It has to be a replacement. So, we can advocate as a professional and argue, help get the most for the money, but we just can't do it for them. So yeah, that inspection part is important. And then just kind of understanding how the process works. Like, if it's leaking, we need to tarp it for you. It needs to be, Lee mentioned mitigation. They call that, if you have a vulnerability on your home and you don't take measures to stop further damage, they can deny that kind of stuff. So, you just want to be sure that we're covering what we need to cover and let them do their job. I don't know about you guys, Lee, but we still have people, they won't even climb on the roof. So a lot of times they're relying on our photographic evidence, which we're really thorough about and professional. It matters how you present as a company to the insurance company. If you come across as professional, give them what they need. Sometimes they just say, okay, and walk away. It's just a weird little world. And like Lee said, it varies from company to company. We want to be your partner. We want to be a partner in that process.
How does a homeowner get insurance involved? Once you've come and inspected the roof, do they just contact their adjuster and they come by and tell you what the gist is? And then the homeowner goes back to you and says, let's do this thing?
We actually have direct communication with the insurance companies a lot of times. The initiation of the claim is always the homeowner. Sometimes they call their agent. Sometimes they call the company direct. That varies depending on their policies and who it is. Once they realize that that's what they want to do, then they initiate a claim. They get a claim number. Documentation of that kind of stuff is really important because, again, it's all going to tie back to that as we report on it. And then it just moves forward. A lot of times, having the homeowner in the middle of the communication is messy. And so we speak to insurance companies directly a lot of times just to stop confusion.
AskARoofer minisodes are brought to you by AskARoofer.com and RoofersCoffeeShop.com. In each bite-sized episode, we explore everything from basic roof maintenance tips to the latest in roofing technology and sustainability. Whether you're a homeowner, a building owner, or just curious about the craft, these minisodes are packed with valuable insights to help you navigate your roofing projects and home or building ownership with confidence. So stay tuned, solve your roofing puzzles, and let's stay ahead of the curve with AskARoofer minisodes. Go to AskARoofer.com to learn more today.